Hey guys, how you doing? This is Mark with Behind Closed Doors. Everybody can get it. How you guys doing? How you guys doing, man? Hey, this is a podcast series that I put together for my caregivers of the world. Folks that take care of people that can't take care of themselves, right? Whether you're caregiving for special needs, maybe you got some, a loved one with, mental issues or cancer or special needs, elderly care, whatever, right? I mean, if you're in a position of taking care of somebody that cannot take care of themselves, you're in the right spot at the right time. This is a great spot, right? Behind Closed Doors podcast. Also, you guys can tap in on our Caregivers Chronicle platform, Mark D. Taylor, Caregivers Chronicle platform on Facebook, right? You want to be there, man. I got a ton of great resources, a lot of connections, a lot of stuff kind of going on with that platform, and you just got to be there, right? One of the keys that I always talk about as it pertains to caregiving is empowering yourself, and that is kind of, making yourself available for platforms like this. And we design a platform simply like this, just because we know everybody just not coming to no meetings and everything. Let's just keep it real, right? So we bringing the meetings and things like that to you guys. We bringing the resources to you guys. We bringing everything to you guys for the most part. Behind Closed Doors movement is our movement, right? That's our mother corporation, so to speak. But right now, right, we doing our online presence, right? We've been getting a lot of great feedback. So I thank you guys, right, that's tapping in on any of our platform, whether it's Caregiver Chronicles, right, on Facebook. You can tap in. I'm telling you, you got to be there, man. We got a lot of stuff, great stuff going on over there. As it get personal, as we started getting a bunch of people from different caregiving communities, right? Whether I kind of explained those different matrices of caregiving, right? So we kind of separate them. So we have groups. The group that we have right now, primarily, like I said, is for my caregivers, special need and elderly care. Right now, that's kind of my what's going on right now. That's kind of my background, right? So yes, that is Behind Closed Doors support group. So you can go into our bio. When you go into the Facebook group, go into the bio, you have the link for the podcast. You have a link for the support group as well. And then obviously you're on Caregivers, Chronicles. So thank you guys for chiming in. You guys are the reason for the treason, right? It ain't all about me. And then as a caveat, guys, I also I've been trying to get in the habit of doing this, man. I really need to know of just a few pieces of information about who is tapping into us, right? Right? Are you like I said before, those different levels of caregiving? Who are you caregiving for, right? Who are you caregiving for? Also, where are you at, right? I mean, you gotta give me I'm not asking you to write a book or a thesis or any of that, right? Where you at? Shout your city out. We're gonna do a roll call, right? Roll call. Let me know where you at, right, guys? Other than that, that's it. I mean, I know how it is. I'm a caregiver too. I ain't crying my heart out on no platform. I get it, right? I'm a rare case to it. That I'm doing it now. But in the beginning stages, no, I didn't. I didn't go to support groups. I didn't go to conferences. I didn't even care to learn nothing about caregiving or anything to that effect. But yeah, staying tapped in is always Mecca. But anyways, guys, man, we're running on this series. It's a 5-episode series where we're talking and we're breaking down caregiving, period, right? From a cultural standpoint, from everything, right, as it pertains to that. Because I think before you can even crack anything down there in terms of that conversation about how to prepare and how to be a better, just assuming the role of caregiving, assuming the role of afterlife and all that transition and all that kind of stuff, it just don't just happen. It just don't fall on it. Don't nobody sit down and talk to you like this. Real talk, all that good stuff. Speaking of real talk, guys, this is a real talk environment, right? I am, we're going to grown folks up in here, right? So every now and then, I'm going to say a couple choice words along the way or whatever. So you want to make sure the kids is far away, right? If you can, right? So yes. Part one, episode one, we talked about the culture. I believe everything has to start with the culture of caregiving, right? Because different cultures have different reasons, different treasons. Hey, my loved one is not going in an elderly home. Hey, my special need loved one is not going in a self-contained class, or whatever the case is, right? I can go with a lot of different scenarios. Nevertheless, guys, yeah, those are some of those scenarios that I'm referring to, right? We talked about the culture. We talked about how the loved one and the one that actually is sick, right, or in need, or whatever the case it is, the caregiver, and you have the client, right? Both of them have to assume some sort of responsibility about connecting each other as adults now, right? So I use the caregiving scenario right here because it's so fitting right now, right? You have a caregiving situation where, you know what I mean, I use myself, right? I ain't gonna beat up on nobody, right? I left home pretty early, right? You know what I mean? So when I left home pretty early, I didn't go back. I visited, but I didn't go back. I didn't come back in and move in, and I didn't get in all that, right? When I left, I left. Now, what happened was, right, when I left, I was a young man. I only knew my mama as my mama, right? I didn't know Virginia Taylor. Right? As a person, because I was a kid, I was just doing what a kid's supposed to do. I didn't know my mom personally like that. I really had to learn my mama the first part of this year, right? Excuse me, 2025. She passed in March. And I had to do a crash course of taking care of her, sandwich caregiving and all that stuff, all in one, and getting to know her nuances. And I was getting the final version of her. She was only with us for about a year and a half, maybe, right? And then she, unfortunately, she went to heaven, and that was that. Right, guys? So, yeah, I mean, definitely moving in that the culture has to change. And then with the culture, what I was about to explain, we disconnected. So I'm guilty as charged. Come get me. Guilty as charged, right? I wasn't there like I needed to be there for my mom. I just kind of seen her, and once I moved on to Arizona, right where I'm at, right? I'm in Arizona. My mom was in Wisconsin, right? Life moved on. I get married. I have kids. I moved to a different state and everything, right? But I did have a brother. Now, my brother Donnie, man, kind of held it down. But it was some unique nuances with Donnie as well, because Donnie was special need, and my mom was kind of taking care of him all over those years, and then all of a sudden the role switched. Now he's taking care of her, and he really couldn't take care of her. So early on, I guess the transition wasn't so bad, but then dementia kicked in, and it was just a big beast, right? And then all of a sudden I got the phone call, Mark, hey, woo, hey, we got to get her to you, man. I'm tapped. And I had to respect that, because I knew the position that he took all these years, holding it down and being there for my mom. And nevertheless, bam, now she falls on my lap, right, for that time. So that culture, you know what I mean? Now I have to learn all these nuances about it. I didn't know about the doctor's appointments. I didn't know what was going on. I literally seen dementia unfold and everything else unfold on that 3-day trip getting here. Really, I mean, 2.5, something like that, whatever. It was a hell of a trip, right? And I learned everything. The sundowns and all that kind of stuff. All this stuff came out right in the car. I'm like in the back. I'm thinking like, whoa, what the hell is going on? Right. So yeah. But that's that. We talked about the culture, and we talked about what should have happened. What should have happened, well, I should have been communicating. I should have been doing that. She should have been communicating with me. It didn't happen, and that happens a lot in families, right? Period. Let's just keep it real, right? You usually get the phone call, oh man, grandpa such and such, or daddy or mama, or hey, you got cancer, or whatever the case it is. And I'm just using this lane right now so you guys kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. But yeah, I could have learned a lot more. I think it would have been a lot beneficial for the aftercare a little bit. I mean, she was going. I already seen it. The writing was on the wall. And we can pray, we can do everything we want to do, best medicine, this, that, and the other. Live little. She knew she was going. That's why she came up here and transitioned and say, "Hey, Mark, man, hey, you need to take care of your brother. Hey, man, I'm this is it." Type stuff, you know what I mean? And I had to respect it all the way to the last hospice moment. But nevertheless, guys, that was all part one, right? I did want to unwrap that for my guys that, the folks of the world that did not see episode number one. Go to the podcast Behind Closed Doors. You'll get the first one. All right, number two. Why one person gets stuck, right? Why do one person get stuck with caregiving caregiving duties, if you would, right? How caregiving responsibilities land unevenly and why it's rarely accidental. Some people are plopped in that position because they care a lot. Some people, don't care, right? You got multiple siblings. You got one situation. One is in jail. One is on drugs. One is over here married and kind of threw their parent away or whatever, right? Whatever the situation. I'm not pointing the finger at nobody, right? Caregiving doesn't get assigned, it gets assumed, right? There's no plan with caregiving. Unfortunately, we don't make those sort of plans. We might even plan for somebody to make a passing. We'll sit up and pay on the insurance and pay on the insurance and pay on the insurance for years, and we think we got the shit down locked. But what happened is we planning for fourth quarter, but we ain't doing nothing in third quarter, right? There's a third quarter, but usually when somebody's, they're not going to just, be in the best condition, ideally, be in the best condition, and all of a sudden they just fall over and, whatever. But I'm saying we didn't plan for it, and most people don't plan for it, right? If you didn't speak up early, silence spoke for you, right? You was guilty as charged. If you didn't speak up, they kind of, made you that person, right? You gonna take care of mama. You gonna take care of auntie and grandmama, uncle, daddy, and this, that, and the other, right? So, that's usually be the people who usually get it as well. Most caregivers didn't volunteer. They stayed, right? They just hung in there. I'm doing the right thing. This mama, this daddy, this uncle, this is my husband, this is my brother, this is my son, or whoever the hell it is, right? Quick points here. Caregiving doesn't fall fairly, right? It ain't fair, right? It ain't fair that my mama passed. This is not I'm just giving you an example. My mama passed and all 9 of my other siblings stay out of town and I just happen to stay 15 minutes from my mama in the same town. That ain't fair that I got to take all the damn duties in X, Y, and Z and X, Y, and Z, right? But once again, if you watch episode 1, I talk about that it is caregiving by committee. Tap in. Go to the podcast, episode number 1. It rarely gets discussed as a group. No formal decision making. No clear roles. No clear roles. No nobody care. We guilty as charged. We didn't have none of our shit together. That's the reason why I'm making this whole piece. I'm learning along the way, and if nevertheless, I'm learning from other people. Right? It just happens. That's what happens. Right? We don't plan for anything. I said at best case, we have something planned out in terms of how we're going to bury such and so, right? That's it. None of the build up to that point when somebody passing. And ideally and realistically, usually when somebody elderly care and then you planning for them to die, there's going to be a chunk of the time where shit's kind of going downhill. And that's where they really going to need that help to be transitioning and things like that. And that's, like I said, that's just elderly care. We got special needs. We got disabled. We got mental health. We got drug problems, whoever, right? All these different people, different scenarios. Guilt factor. Right? Guilt keeps people from saying no. Guilt keeps people from asking for help. Right? I got this. I'm in command. Oh, that's the huge one. That's the huge one right there. Even when you in them positions, some people just go bananas in that position. This is my mama. This is my auntie. This is my cousin. This is mine. This is mine. This is mine. So on one breath, you saying that, but on the other breath, you can't open your damn mouth and you don't get no help. I got a podcast on there, man. It is what it is. Get your ass out the way, right? I mean, there's a lot of people that just in the way, and they need to be. It needs to be heard and said just the way I just said it. Get your ass out the way, right? You the super caregiver. You trying to do everything. You don't want nobody touching this, nobody doing this, nobody doing that, man. Just like my mama is my mama, she's somebody's auntie, she's somebody's cousin, she's somebody's sister, she's somebody's son. You dig it, right? You know what I mean? Hey, we don't have to have everybody come in and assume everything, right? If you sit down and you plan, it's the small shit that matters when you dealing with caregiving, right? We got medication, we got food, we got washing their clothes, we got taking them to meetings and taking them to doctor's appointments, going to care appointments, care plans, and putting all that kind of stuff together, getting preparation ready for the end game, right? All that stuff, right? If you got enough people there, everybody assumes those different roles. Quit trying to play super caregiver, man. Get your ass up out of there. Real talk, man. I mean, if this apply to you, it apply to you. I don't even care, right? I kept my man wide open. You know, there wasn't no prior collar when I was going through that stuff with my mom. Man, look, shout out, man, to my Uncle Brandon. Shout out to my cousin Tequila. Shout out to, my cousin Tar, my cousin Gerald, my cousin Ella. Hey, man, look, man, those are the kind of people, man, that came through in different levels, right? Whether it was emotionally, whether it was financially, whether it was, putting the funeral, we did a ceremony, right? For ashes and stuff like that. We did that route, right? Because that was what we can afford. And then, they came through, man. They was here. They flew down here all the way to Arizona, man. Love, man. I love y'all for that, man. I love you. 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 Real talk. So yeah, back to that guilt factor, right? We talked about all the guilt reasons, right? Guilt gets weaponized, right? You're better at this, right? They try to qualify people. You better at this, you a woman, so you can take it. No, you a man too. Damn it, you can do something, right? I had to do it, man. I did everything. Not because I wanted to, because I had to do it, right? And it was what it was. And then when it got to a point, that's why I say guilt. Don't let guilt set in and mess up decisions about whether you should do it or you shouldn't do it. Guilt don't even play a role in that. The worst thing you can do is have guilt get in the way, and next thing you know, now you feeling obligated. You feeling obligated to having to take care of somebody, right? Now, that don't make me no caregiver. If I knew that I wasn't no caregiver, I'm like, you know what? This shit's not for me. I'm going to have to bring in the big dogs or somebody, and I'll watch over them. I do the 80-20, right? Shout out to my cousin, man. Shout out to cuz, man. She put me on this. You're not going to find the perfect situation for an elderly care person, whether it's in the home or whether it's there, right? It's going to be 80-20. 80-20, right? You're not going to find a perfect situation. Your presence counts for that 20, right? You're going to need that presence up in there to do what you need to do. Let's see here. Let's see. Availability and willingness, right? That plays a role in who takes the position, so to speak. Flexible schedule doesn't mean I'm free, right? I don't have a job or I'm retired, right? That don't just, you know what? Mark ain't working. Shit, he can get over here and do X, Y, and Z. Whoa, it don't work like that. Once again, don't try to qualify me based on a damn schedule or based on the fact that somebody's not working or whatever their situation may be. That don't make them a caregiver. Just because I love my mom, just because all that good stuff, right? I want the best for my mom and everything. That doesn't make me a damn caregiver, right? I came to the realization, I actually got prime. My son, man, my 11-year-old son, he had multiple diagnoses. So we already I already been practicing. And I kind of went through this stuff with my grandmother as well. I watched her kind of deteriorate and I kind of seen the process. So it kind of helped out. But damn, that was my mama. I'm going to sacrifice and do some things until I can't do it. And then we had to transition her to a facility. Didn't work out. Boom, boom, boom. Back to the house. We was doing a little bit of that. So I don't feel guilty at all. And I recommend nobody don't even feel guilty, because the worst situation they can be in is somebody being forced to be put in that situation, right? and you ain't doing what you supposed to do. You missing meds, they falling on the damn floor, they doing all this kind of stuff, and don't even put them on, don't even do that. Don't even do that, because at that rate, you know damn different than the damn facility that's treating them bad or treating them bad, right? You ain't no different because you don't know what the hell you doing, right? Now, I literally I went and got certified as a caregiver. I went through all that stuff, right? I just didn't let me just start doing this. No, I had to take classes on high blood pressure, giving insulin and all this other kind of stuff, using the blood pressure cup, all that stuff. I took it seriously and take it seriously, right? So we're talking about availability and schedules and how people being free and all that kind of stuff, working from home, no responsibilities. You assume that there's somebody young, they ain't got once again, they ain't got a job, they ain't got no kids. You're hired. No, it don't work like that. You better find the right person just because that love, I'm telling you, man, when you're taking care of somebody with dementia or Alzheimer's or elderly care and they having sundowns and all that, you can start off loving them, but after a while, they're going to be all kind of everything else, shit under the sun. I'm telling you. Hey, man, I've been there, man. Mom calling me every damn 5 minutes and everything. That dementia, man, was working her head, man. They can get personal. Like, damn, shut the, I'm just saying, right? Caregiving fills the gaps people leave open. Caregiving fills the gaps that people, so that's just talking about availability and, how people is forced into caregiving based on, hey, well, she ain't got no kids, well, she can do this, or he right around the corner, but he and she, they don't qualify them to be a damn caregiver. So now when such and such fall on the floor, or she take too many meds, or something happen, now that's your damn fault, right? That's your fault. And then what happens is, too, organically, if it falls on one person, which is the reason why we're talking about this, at the end of the day, it affects people's lifestyle, right? Now, I can't make no money. I can't do anything. I had to quit my job, all this other kind of stuff. This stuff is getting crazy, right? And then the minute that I see the state offer, pay for caregivers, like you can get paid for it. Now I gotta feel guilty because I'm taking hell no, I ain't feeling no guilty. Because if I don't get to pay, somebody else is gonna do it. And if I'm in this thing full time and I gotta change my lifestyle around and my money is funny and everything like that, great. This is my mom, this is my dad, this is my cousin, whoever the hell it is. But at the end of the day, man, I gotta pay bills and shit. I ain't trying to hear that. So I'm not feeling guilty about getting paid. And don't you feel guilty about getting paid. Don't you let nobody talk that stupid nonsense to you. You can get paid. Because I had people in the comment sections talking about how I feel guilty about, man, I ain't feeling guilty about Nathan. You understand me? Because my car need gas in it. I got bills and every damn thing to pay. Man, I'm not trying to hear none of that. None of it, especially if you ain't in there doing nothing. You ain't changing no diaper, you ain't shooting no meds, you ain't giving no ride, you ain't no emotional support, you ain't doing a damn thing. Adios. Move on. It is what it is. I'm grown. You do what you do. Say what you say. Number 6, silence becomes an assignment, right? No family meeting, default caregiver chosen, right? I'm just giving some little scenarios here. Not pushing back. Silent agreement, right? Everybody talking about, how who gonna do what. And once again, that's usually the family matrix right there. They just automatically trying to peg somebody in that position. Once again, I didn't say yes, but I didn't say no. We got some people that's on the fence, no defined roles. No defined roles. So when Uncle such and such is on his last leg, or daddy or mama or grandmama, whoever it is, right on their last leg, everybody now trying to put the plan together. And it don't work like that. You got to, man, I found out you got to transition, right? This ain't no, I got my mama, I got her. That's my daddy. I got no, hell no. You better get your life together. Over time, it's assumed you're the one, right? And my mama had three boys all together, and one passed early. So she had three boys, right? She didn't have any girls. And it's so crazy because with caregiving and stuff like that, ideally, in most cases, it's usually a woman that take care, that does that duties, especially if it is a woman, right? It was tough. It's challenging. It's weird. It's awkward. Damn, I got to wipe my mama. I got to, you know what I mean? It's a weird position, but it is what it is, guys. At the end of the day, I had to assume duties. Sorry about that. I had to assume duties, and no matter what, it didn't matter. It was time for me to put up or shut up. You know what I mean? So as wrapping it up here, winding down to number 7, why families avoid shared responsibilities, avoidance of discomfort. Feeling of conflict, man. I ain't got nothing to do with that, man. I don't like my brother. I don't like my cousin. I don't like my uncle. You know what I mean? I ain't dealing with my auntie because I don't like my uncle. I ain't dealing with my grandma because I don't want to see my other cousin. All that old shit, right? Fear of accountability, right? Fear of accountability. I don't want to be accountable for nothing, man. I don't want her passing on me. Now all of a sudden there's a problem. Or I don't even want to deal with her money because money gonna be a damn problem. All that need to be, that's conversation. That's conversation. It's easier to let one person carry it all. That's what they think, right? That's what they think. I remember I told you, super caregiver, put the cape on. You don't be a fool. Don't be a fool. As long as it's handled, we don't have to deal with it. So long as it's such and such over there overworked, working 5 or 6 goddamn shifts, we don't have to worry about it. No, that ain't cool. That ain't fair. That's foul. That's foul. Especially when it gets to the position where you have let's say a grandparent, right? And the grandparent has kids, and then she got grandkids, or he got grandkids, and you got the grandkids stepping in to take care of mama, and the damn kids ain't. That's foul. That's out of order. They need to be checked. Straight up. You know what I mean? Ain't no way in hell I'm gonna put all this on my kids and I'm not taking care of my mama. That's punk. That's punk shit. I'm sorry. That's if you in position to do it, man, you do it. I don't care if you gotta take buses. I don't care what you gotta do. I don't care what you gotta do in your life, man, because your mom gave you life. Period, point blank. It might have been a crazy ass life like I had, but damn, she brought me here. They put me in this earth, man. You know, mama and daddy at that damn rate, right? That don't mean we got to be all lovey-dovey, but damn, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. So that was number 7, and how they, the avoidance thing and things like that. Number 8, right? The cost of being the one, right? The chosen one. You, Mark, you just, man, you just... You the shit, man. You do that for your mom, man. I really appreciate it, man. You a stand-up dude. All that shit sound great, man. It do. But damn, burnout. Burnout is there. Resentment is there. Isolation is there. Financial strain is there. Emotional exhaustion, body, all that kind of stuff as well. And as I remember, as I told, and we talked about episode number 1 about cultivating those relationships early so you can be able to get along. But just think about this. Now try this one, right? Try having caregiving bounce on your damn lap and you don't even like the damn person. Ooh-wee. That's tough. That's tough. You know what I mean? Or you ain't eye to eye. Like I wasn't eye to eye. I wasn't eye to eye with my mama. But damn, that was my mama. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to conform. I'm going to go dive in. We wasn't eye to eye. That making it even more tougher. That's going to make it even more tough. And the role only get with elderly care and they pass and you see the transition, you know this it's going to happen, right? Right? So with that being said, you know it's going to happen and everything. They're changing. They're changing, man. They're they deteriorating. The brain is going, all that kind of stuff. So all that stuff is really coming out. Like it came out in the last year of my mama's life, right? We had some good times, then we had some other times, right? Now all of a sudden in between dementia and Alzheimer's, all this other crazy shit is coming out about how I moved out of Arizona. All this stuff comes out. But she wasn't there to receive it. She wasn't there. But nevertheless, it comes out, right? So, you know what I mean? It's best to, formulate some relationships. Parents, make sure you have some relationship with your kids, right? Make sure you got some relationship with your kids. Kids, make sure you got a relationship with your parents, right? Period, point blank. I ain't got to like you. I can love you, but I ain't got to like you. Period, point blank. Well, when it comes down to assume position and this shit needs to get taken care of, let's do it. Let's play ball, right? All right, we already got that one. That was number 8, right? I'm gonna have the notes in here, guys, so you have an opportunity to take a look at those notes. And once again, guys, before I do anything, I want to make sure that I tap in with all of you guys, right? Where are you, right? And who you caring for? If you can put that in the sections down here. I'm not asking for a thesis. I'm not asking for a paragraph. I'm not asking for none of that. Who is your loved one? Like, who are you taking care of? Is it the elderly? Is it a special need? Where you at? You in Rhode Island? You in Chicago? You in Washington? You in LA? You in Vegas? Damn, help me. Please help me. All right, Real Talk Live, right? This is it, right? This the grand finale, guys. I'm going to give it to you, right? Being reliable shouldn't mean being sacrificed. Caregiving landed on me because I stayed. These are some of those, some of those little things that pop up in the mix here, right? Silence doesn't mean agreement. It means exhaustion. Families don't avoid responsibility by accident, right? So it's levels to this stuff. It is levels to this stuff. So, guys, I will be tapping into the episode number 3. And I'll leave, like I said, I'll leave that in the notes as well. What the next episode is going to be. Tap into episode number 1. We're talking about the culture. So today, once again, guys, we were talking about how one person gets stuck in that position and how and why they got stuck in those sort of positions and why it shouldn't happen and what we should be doing, right? Because that's ultimately what we're doing. We're trying to crack away at this damn thing, right? This is not an overnight kind of a process, right? We got to work this thing out. And if we take it by little pieces at a time, we have a better shot at it. So, hey, guys, thank you for chiming in. This episode number 2. This is a 5-episode series as we kind of breaking down this whole caregiving thing. Also, guys, a lot of my notions and a lot of my content and everything really comes back from you guys, right? And in particular, we had a very, I guess, quote unquote, viral, a video that actually, the reason it came to my attention, it made me feel good about it. It wasn't because of the numbers, it was because of the engagement. Like, man, oh my God, these comments was rolling in. That's all I asked for, right? It ain't for everybody, and I get it. Quick stuff, yes, no. If you're affected by this, give me a fist bump. If it's a heart, bam, give me a heart or something, right? That's all it is, right? That helps me help you guys. I can help formulate better content, better programs, etc., etc., etc. Thank you guys for chiming in behind closed doors. Everybody can get it. I'll holla. You guys take it easy.